Hello everyone, I wanted to make a video about repotting this Catasetum that I have. And originally I wasn't going to repot until the new little pseudobulbs are big enough. And this one might be ready, but this one is not quite. Because everybody says it's a risk of getting it wet and rotten if you do it too early. All right. But I think it's safe that I can repot it now, because what I'm going to do is put it in a very well drained basket, and I'm going to let the moss dry. I'm going to be potting it in moss and sphagnum moss. This is the one that I'm using, and I'm going to incorporate Osmocote in there. But first, I rinse the moss, and what I do is I soak it and then I wring it so that it's damp and not soaking, dripping wet. So it should be fluffy, not drenched in water. All right, the two Catasetums that we are repotting today, this one is called FDK After Dark Sunset Valley Orchids. Okay, that's that one. And the second one is called Frilly Doris SVO Catasetum Spitzi SVO Gold. Now, originally I wasn't going to pot it until the new growth was big enough, and I thought, well, I better go ahead and pot it now because I'm coming into a problem. All last February and most of this month, March, I have been laying my Catasetum in a tray like this and just waiting for the new growth to be big enough to pot. And I'm coming into a problem in that the old pseudobulbs are laying down, and the new baby that are going upward. So I really actually need to go ahead and stand them up so that they are ready to be grown in the right position upward. So, and I thought, well, let's just go ahead and pot it so that it would be in the correct position for growing into a nice orientation. So, okay, what I'm going to do first, this is, I think it is a 5-inch basket from the hydroponic store. So, so what I'm going to do first is, I think we're going to try potting let's try doing the FDK first. All right. So I'm going to lay some moss at the bottom first. And you really should try to get the bigger pieces to lay at the bottom, because you want it to catch all the little ones that fall out later on once you're constantly watering as the season goes by. So I'm going to make like a little nest. Okay, and then, all right, so I should be able to put like my palm, my fist, right in there. This is just an idea how to do it. I'm sure there's plenty other ways. All right, and I'm going to put some Osmocote at various layers. And Catasetums are very, very heavy feeders, so it's a good idea to incorporate Osmocote in its media. And and also give it regular fertilizer as well, orchid fertilizer throughout the season. So I'm going to, I think ultimately I'm going to use an entire spoonful, but half of it just for the bottom layer, and I'm going to incorporate more as I go. And there we go. There. Now this Osmocote says that it is no burn, so it has a no burn pledge when used as directed, which is probably just scattered through and not too concentrated. So I'm going to put that, and then I'm going to put a lightly another light layer, just so that I can make more, I can add more fertilizer in. All right, and what my objective is to seed this, but you realize that I don't want to pit right in here, not too high of a pit, because what will happen is the weight of the Catasetum will sink down eventually as we water day by day. So I want to sit it up pretty high, not too high, but it needs some support from the sides of the pot. So there we go. So let's build another layer. Let's finish that light layer first. All right, now a little more. Oh, and the reason I wanted to make it a nest is because I don't want to put the fertilizer around the edges. I'm cheap and I don't want to waste my fertilizer. It'll come right out of the pot if I put it right up, just if I incorporate it and mix it in here. If I mix the fertilizer in here, it'll just get randomly dispersed, and I don't want to do that. I want to direct it to where I want it, and I want to be cautious of not wasting it, because obviously not everything is not cheap. All right, so I'm thinking still too low, so maybe a few more. And this stuff is very airy. I'm going to keep it very airy for a while. And I think as the season goes by, I might end up adding more moss around it. All right, so now I'm going to do a light amount again, and I think that brings me to about that cupful right there. And there's no science to it really, just don't add too much that it'll be too strong for the orchid. But I think 1 spoonful of this should be enough. All right, and then just work your way around, securing the Catasetum in place. Alright, and you see there's that little baby right there. Just be careful not to bury it in wet moss. Give it lots of space to dry out, just in case. Alright, and then just press lightly around it just to anchor. And it would be a good idea if you want to put a wire across here too. I don't know if I cut this long enough. This is an old piece of wire that I have that I'm using. Yeah, let's just try that. So, yeah. So I'm going to insert I'm going to bring the wire across to the other side. Just being careful not to break those 2 bulbs right there. But this bulb is a little flimsy, so I don't want to anchor it there. So I'm going to try going through here. and direct it down and into a slit. And there we go. And press it up just to give it a twist on the wire to secure it. All right, and this side as well. I don't want to make it too tight there. All right, now, so I'm going to pull this up a little bit, just make sure that it's not too anchored down or too sunken down. And I haven't seen any roots yet. I haven't seen any roots in there yet, not new lively roots yet. This is still just old stuff that you're seeing. Old roots, but I'm going to keep that clear like that. And if a little come in contact, if a little bit of moss come in contact there, it should be okay. I don't think it's a big deal. So I'm going to place this basket in very bright light, just so that the moss will dry out quickly. Okay, so that's one down, one to go. So I'm going to do this one a little faster with less commentary. Just so I don't take forever here and you don't have to watch such a long video. All right, that's it here. Ooh, I may not have enough moss. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna have enough moss. I'm gonna have to wet some more real quick. And I'm going to take about half of that, or a third of that, just disperse it around in the center. Be right back. Alright, sorry about that. I can't pause the video because I'm filming on an iPhone and I don't have that option unless I edit the video. I'm going to add a little more actually. Yeah. Alright, now continue on with another layer. Okay, and then press down a little bit more. Alright. Alright, more moss, about half of that. Okay, and this one is Frilly Doris, a really pretty green orchid. So now, see, this is the problem with this one. It's already growing sideways because I had it laying down, and of course it wants natural going up if I have the main anchor laying down. So now I'm going to have to correct that, and I'm not sure how correctable it is, but I'm going to try. So I'm going to keep it like this, and hopefully that new baby will go upward back. It may have a little twist to it. All right. And again, I'm not too worried about this touching the moss. It's not soaking wet. The moss is just slightly damp, just so that it's workable, just so that we can work with it and press it and all that, because we don't want it crunchy. It would just break mostly when we work with the crunchy ones. All right, okay, so I'm going to call it that, and it's not really fully potted. I'm going to add another layer once that new baby is growing a little more. And actually, you know what, I have it touching the new roots, so I'm going to I'm going to bring that back a little bit. It's touching the new roots, and I don't want it to rot it unless the moss dries out by tonight. I'm going to keep an eye on that. All right, then a little more fertilizer all around, just a little bit here and there. And you know, as the season progresses and as the bulb gets larger, you can just add, you know, more fertilizer. Just do what you want. Do what you think makes sense. All right. Okay, well, thank you very much. And that's it. This is FDK After Dark.